So we are headed to a hayfield that we have way back here in the back. This is kind of a shortcut way to get to it. The other way, we have a different way that takes a little longer that we would go with the hay equipment, but since I'm just driving the tractor over there, we'll cut across this creek. So I would turn left here to go feed the heifers. One bed. So we're on the land that the red heifers are on, that we rent, and the hayfield's on top of this hill. And I don't know if you can tell from the camera how high that hill is. One day I had somebody with me that had an altimeter. I think that's what you call those. Reads altitude. And it was a 50-foot difference from this bottom to the top of the hill. So this, we have it fenced off with electric fence with just a solar panel. It's about 25 to 30 acres. It seems a lot bigger because of the hills. It's got a deep valley over here, and then it even gets a little higher to the point of the middle. But this was all planted cereal rye. The winter grains are 70. It was probably about 6 inches tall. I can't remember exactly when. It was sometime in mid-December. Opened it up and let the heifers have it, and they've had it up until about 3 weeks ago. Fenced it off, or closed the gates, and then we're gonna try to get a cutting of baleage off of it. So this used to just be part of the field, and last year we fenced it off, trying to rejuvenate this ground back into a hayfield. I think the people that had it probably 15 years ago or so used to bale hay out here. It's a pretty nice coastal field, but we're just trying to get it all fixed back up. It's just a little bit of a pain in the butt to get back here, but it'll be worth it in the long run. You can hold the camera still enough. That right there is a swamp where all that water is. And you can see the heifers, they're grazing through it. Yeah, it's kind of a wasteland, but it grows some pretty good grass down there in the summertime. There's a lot of gopher mounds up here. So yeah, this from up here you can. It's about to be limited because the leaves are coming back. The trees are starting to bloom, but from up here you can just about see the whole entire farm. Yeah, so from here down to this bottom right on the other side of the tree line, that's a 50 foot difference, and I would say that's probably 200 yards, something like that. 150, 200 yards from here, from the top to the bottom. So it's pretty steep. There's a farm market road that runs over there on that hill where that old barn is, if you can see it. So if you ever like won the lottery, you could build you a really awesome driveway going over this swamp and up this hill, and then build a mansion up here, and then like say the third story be all glass windows, and you'd be able to see pretty much the whole everything, get over the top of them trees on that side, and then you'd be able to see all this too. So that's my plan if I ever win the lottery. This hill is just like pure sand. That's all it is sand. Quite a few fresh Gopher mounds. Last year we spent, I think we Gopher poisoned it twice, drug it with the little disc, and I think we drug it with the tires 3 or 4 times. We sprayed for weeds. We had a lot of bull needles and goat weeds. So I think we ended up spraying it like 3 times. We sprayed it for grasshoppers twice, and we sprayed it for army worms twice in the fall. Yeah, so hopefully this year it kind of pays back a little bit. This one's kind of odd because you're trying to go across the hills and it kind of goes every which way, so a lot of zigzagging here. Alright, so right now we're in the huge bowl. I mean, we're basically, it's a half circle of a hill all the way around us, except for this wooded area, which is on somebody else's land. But, so I had to start over here at the fence and go across the hill here. I don't know, I probably made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 8 passes going from here towards the center of the hill, going that way. And then I made my last pass here, and then I turned around up there, made 2 passes this way, and then I'm gonna do my 3rd pass going this way down here in the bottom, and then that way everything's going across hills. So I had to go 8 passes that way. I'll probably have to do 8 passes this way on the side of that hill, and then 3 down here in the bottom. A little bit wet right here. So I already made 1, 2 passes. So I'm going to do my 3rd pass, just starting right up here, going back towards the center. You can see all the Gopher mountains. They're pretty bad out here. So we'll make let's see, we already got 3, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 passes to make here on this side of the hill, and then I'll show you how we do the rest of it when we get there. Directly down the center of the highest point of the hill, and then we'll probably come back on this side a couple lines going this way. I got a little bit of a triangle to fill in there, and then this side should be pretty easy at just going back and forth. Well, I finished the hayfield part. If you look how it lies from the top of the hill in the center, it slopes off this way, down here slopes off that way. You got the bowl part of the dip over here. Some of it slopes off this way, some of it does the other way, the back side slopes off the other way. So basically it's kind of just almost kind of like a hip roof on a house. It's going every different direction. So I had to go in about 6 or 7 different ways to get it done right. I just got out and closed the gate. I pulled out and did a little bit here on top of the hill. That's part of the heifer ground. It's so bad that you could probably hop from mound to mound to mound. So by just walking, now you had to jump. So I did a little bit up here. I got a few more passes on top of this hill, and then I'm going to head back to the dairy barn. But yeah, I always think this place up here is pretty cool just because of the view. It's, I guess it's a lot different than what we're used to around here. And we got some hills and some rolling, but nothing that steep, nothing that high. But we got one more hay field to do. I may try to get it done today. And if I do end up getting it done today, that's where we'll continue the video. Alright. Alright, so we're going to head to that other hay field. We call it 64 because it's on Highway 64. And then we got to make a pit stop first. We got a coffee and we got a protein bar, so we're good to go. Actually, on my way back from the place on the hill, we call it the Spring Creek. It's not that big creek that I crossed the first part of the video. It's a smaller one. When I crossed it, I broke a shear bolt because the tractor started going up and the tires went down and the Gopher poisoner hit the ground and broke a shear bolt. That's what that's what it's supposed to do. If you hit something, oh man, if you hit something in the ground, that's what it's supposed to do. And I was trying to fix that. That's a pain in the butt. Couldn't get the 2 different pieces to line up. So we are on Highway 64 now. Hayfield's right here on the left. Problem with the hayfield on this road is people don't care. We've actually been stopped at the driveway trying to pull in with 3 tractors and have people still going around us, passing us with blinkers on. You gotta really pay attention here. Because people just don't care, and I guess maybe they don't understand either, but so this hayfield's pretty much flat. Just a couple little humps here and there. We'll probably mostly just go in one direction. Gopher sign here. So we'll be over here for a couple hours. This is 60 acres. It looks pretty good in ryegrass. The only thing is I like to call this field the rice paddy field because any water just sits here. This field is notoriously wet, and hopefully we get through here with no problems. But so this will be the last hay field to do. That'll make, let's see, my brother did 100 acres. I finished up the 125 acres. It's 225, this is 285 altogether. And that other field is 30. So that's 315 acres of hay fields, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but we got another 80 acres that our neighbor owns it, and we cut it and bale it, and he gets half the hay and we get the other half. And he also gives us access to that field that we were just at. So works great for everybody involved, and so that'd be close to 400 acres of hay field to do, and then you know, we also have the 500 acres of pastures that we have at the dairy. Once it warms up, we can only graze at night. Then there's usually a handful of 10 to 15 fields that get cut off and put away for silage, Tifton 85. So we usually do at least 4 rounds, even up to 5 rounds of, so that'd be 60 to 70 acres of Tifton 85 each time. So so we usually each cutting we're doing about 500 acres each cutting. So yeah. So we used to cut and bale about 700 acres, and we would seem like once we started, we just kept cutting and baling the whole summer, all summer long, and at times it was good. We had extra hay, we could sell hay, things like that. But you know, 10-15 years ago when fertilizer prices went sky high, we were just putting out a little bit of fertilizer, just enough to grow some grass, and we'd get a bale or 2 an acre, and it wasn't worth it. Now with the way we have the dairy set up with the intensive grazing and the fertility that we have at the dairy, and with what we can do to the hay fields, you know, a smaller, like half the hayfield acreage, you know, we can get anywhere from 3 to 6 bales an acre. With our Tifton 85, if we're not getting 5 to 6 tons an acre, you know, 5 to 6 bales an acre, I mean, that something's wrong. You know, either we're a little early or it's super dry. In perfect conditions, I mean, you wouldn't be surprised to get 7 bales an acre. So there's a few fields that we do kind of regularly because they grow way too fast to graze. Cows just can't handle them. That are 6 acre fields, and they'll do 30 to 40 bales each time. So that's where we get a lot of our hay. It's covering less acres, but it's being more productive on fewer acres than we were before. Well, I got a couple hours worth of going back and forth in front of me. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.